My mother-in-law Beth cries out, clutching her stomach. The paramedics soon arrive and carries Beth on a stretcher.
Is she your daughter? Can you come with us?
Beth then looks at me with a pained look on her face as she clutches her stomach.
She's just my son's wife. She's not my daughter.
Beth corrects them, even though she looks like she's in real pain.
Excuse me, ma'am. But she is your relative, isn't she? Will you just come with us?
The paramedic asks me that question. I give Beth a cold glare and said this. I will not accompany her to the hospital. My name is Carla. I am a 27-year-old housewife. My husband Leon and I have been married for 3 years. My husband and I met at a mixer hosted by our mutual friend. He is a very cheerful person who speaks to everyone without any hesitation, and I thought he was a kind and nice person. Compared to him, I'm rather boring and shy, so I admire people like him. I was sure that he wouldn't even consider me as someone he'd want to get close to seriously, but to my surprise, he began to approach me.
Carla, are you interested in camping?
Camping? I've only been to it once when I was a student.
I see. I like camping a lot, so why don't some of us go camping together next time?
I'd love to go camping with you. At first, we went camping with about 4 people, and then I started talking to him about various things, and we grew closer. He started actively asking me out to dinner and on dates, and we started to go out. Then about 2 years into our relationship, he proposed to me, and I was to marry him. I was very happy, and I was at the height of my happiness. We then went to greet his parents to inform them about our marriage. My impression of his in-laws was good. My father-in-law, Walter, was bright and kind, just like him. My mother-in-law, Beth, was more of a quiet type, and although she was smiling the whole time, she did not speak much. So I mistakenly thought that she was a similar type to me, and felt close to her. I realized that I was wrong when I visited my in-laws at a family party. As soon as Beth saw me, she looked at me coldly and said,
"Hurry up and come to the kitchen and help me."
And when I went to the kitchen, she said harshly,
"You're such a slowpoke. Can't you just get on with it?"
And she would say harsh things to me. At first, I thought she was acting that way because she was busy. However, Beth was very strict to me and made me clean every nook and cranny of the house. She made me clean places that I thought no one would look at during the party. By the time the dinner party was over, I was exhausted. However, Beth gave me instructions on this and that without even thinking how I feel.
"Hey, there is an empty glass. Go pour the beer."
After giving me these orders, Beth would say something to our relatives to look down on me.
"Please excuse Carla being a really uncaring wife. She grew up all spoiled, and it's hard for me to teach her everything."
Beth laughs hysterically as she says that. I was surprised that she not only insulted me, but also casually insulted my parents. I glanced at my husband, who was drinking a lot of alcohol and making a lot of noise. He didn't seem to care about me at all, which made me feel lonely. That's how Beth was at our first party at my parents-in-law's house. She was not at all like me. She was not at all as quiet as she had been when we greeted each other in marriage. Perhaps she was trying to determine what kind of woman I was at that time.
Carla, I am sorry for giving you a hard time.
It was Walter who said this to me as I was going back and forth between the kitchen and the living room.
My wife has a big attitude like that, and she's a bit of a brat. Leon is our only son, and we had him pretty late, and we spoiled him a bit. I may have caused a little trouble for you, even though you're his wife.
Walter said so and apologized to me. It's not a trouble for me. I said so because I felt bad for Walter. But at that time, I didn't really feel that it was a trouble for me at all. I often hear stories about mother-in-laws who are strict with their daughter-in-laws, and I also hear that some husbands are not very cooperative. Besides, my husband is kind when we are home alone, and he shares the household chores with me. So I wasn't that unsatisfied.
Thank you for saying so. I look forward to seeing you again.
It was nice to see you too. It was also significant that Walter was kind to me in that way. Beth might have a big attitude only at a party like this. I was surprised by this time, but I still thought that I shouldn't assume Beth or my husband to be who they were. After that, I went back to my normal life. My husband is the same as usual. He helps me with housework and he is kind and cheerful. My husband was not the type to go back to his parents' house that often. He would return back to his parents at Thanksgiving's, Christmas, or New Year's. So for about a year after we got married, I hardly had anything to do with Beth. However, that situation changed when Walter was seriously injured in an accident and needed nursing care. We were asked by Beth to move in with her.
Carla, my mom said that, and I'm worried about my dad too, so please, can we live with them?
My husband begged me. I was surprised because my husband had never asked me that seriously. Walter's condition must not be good. I was also worried about Walter. That is why I agreed to move in with them. But I didn't think it would be the biggest mistake of my life. We moved into my parents-in-law's house and started living together. Then Beth said to us kindly,
"Thank you for coming and taking care of us from now on,"
she said kindly. Just as I was thinking that Beth's attitude was normal, she said to me,
"Well then, I want you to do some housework for me right away."
"Excuse me?"
"What? You're the wife who married into this house, so it's natural for you to do the housework, isn't it? I want you to vacuum and wipe the floor as soon as possible." "What are you doing? Hurry up and move."
"Oh, okay." Beth treated me like a slave right after we started living together, and I became worried about my future at once. Beth was not behaving like this because she was busy with family party, but because she has always been like that. Since then, Beth has been pushing me to do all the housework. I work full-time, so I cannot do housework during the day, but Beth complained and forced me to do an unbelievable amount of housework after I came home from work. When I come home from work, I wash the dishes Beth has eaten for lunch, and then I cook dinner, and clean the bath and prepare the bath for her, and also clean up the rooms and the toilet as well. And in the morning, I have to make breakfast in the morning, and Beth even forces me to make my husband's lunch.
"Don't make Leon eat something that is bad for his health, like a pre-made meal."
She would get angry at me, so I would have to get up early in the morning and cook every day, whipping my tired body into shape. As I continued such a life, my body reached its limits, and the quality of my housework and my work began to get worse.
"You slowpoke! You're so slow at anything you do. You really are useless."
Beth would abuse me like that. I became more and more exhausted, both physically and mentally. But the saddest thing for me was that my husband did not say anything to me when he saw me in such a situation. On the contrary, since we started living together, my husband did nothing to help around the house. If my husband had helped me with the housework, like he had in the past, it would have made things a little easier for me. But well, if my husband tried to do the housework, Beth might stop him and not let him do it. Still, I wanted him to at least show me that he was willing to support me. I had no choice but to quit my job because it became too difficult for me to balance housework and work, and I didn't think my body could take it any longer. Beth had always grumbled to me about women working in an office, so I decided to quit. I didn't like the idea of being with Beth during the day, but I had no choice considering the burden on my own body. However, my burden did not decrease. In addition to the housework, Beth also forced me to take care of Walter.
"Then, please take care of the rest."
With that, Beth went out of town for shopping and lunch. I couldn't leave Walter alone, so I did my best to take care of him while doing the housework.
Carla, I am so sorry. I didn't think she was that insane and helpless.
Walter didn't think that Beth would force me to take care of him, and he was quite shocked. I mean, they were a married couple. It would be natural for him to feel sad if he was treated like that by his own wife. I felt sorry for Walter, so I tried to talk to him a lot while I was caring for him. He told me many stories about his past, memories of Beth, and my husband's childhood. I enjoyed talking with Walter very much, and it was the most relaxing time for me because I was busy with housework. The rest of the time was really tough. Beth still picks on me and my husband is indifferent. Once I talked to my husband about Beth, but he said, "I'm tired from work," and he never listened to me. He was not kind to me anymore, and like Beth, he complained and ordered me to do housework and other chores. I was considering divorce, but I had already quit my job and my parents live in a rural area, so I could not go home easily. Therefore, I could not take the decision to divorce. A year passed after I spent those difficult days. Walter was getting weaker and weaker, and he no longer had the strength to continue to live any longer. In contrast, Beth and my husband became more and more demanding, and I just had enough. Then one day Walter said to me,
"Carla, thank you for everything. You have worked hard enough. You should live your own life now."
"What does that mean?"
"Leave Leon and leave this house."
"Huh?"
"You are still young. You shouldn't waste your life in a place like this."
But I don't have the strength to live on my own."
"Leave that to me."
"Huh?"
"Take the key to this house and leave."
"This is..."
"I bought the apartment for you, Carla."
"What?"
"Thank you for taking care of me until now. I'm thanking you for that."
"Oh, no, I can't accept it."
"If this continues, Carla, you'll suffer even more. Please, let me thank you. I just want to make sure I don't have any regrets, so please, let me just thank you."
"Walter." I decided to accept Walter's token of gratitude, and I proceeded to carefully prepare for the move. I sent my belongings little by little so that Beth and my husband would not realize as much as possible. It took a long time, but I was almost ready to complete the move. That was when it happened. On Saturday morning, Beth suddenly started having a very painful stomachache. She had gone out for drinks with her friends the day before, and she had eaten a lot of raw oysters. That must be why she was having that stomachache. Beth cowered down with her stomach in her hands. Then my husband started getting ready to go out. I thought he was going to take her to the hospital, but he was looking kind of funny. Then my husband took his large suitcase and said this to me.
"Well, I'm off to go camping, so take care of Mom and Dad."
I was truly dumbfounded. His own mother was suffering like this, and yet he'd rather go out camping. But I felt it was too much trouble to get angry at my husband, so I said nothing and sent him off. Meanwhile, Beth was on the floor, screaming, "Call an ambulance!" I had no choice but to call an ambulance for her. The paramedics soon arrived and carried Beth on a stretcher.
"Is she your daughter? Will you come with us?"
Beth then looks at me, holding her stomach and looking distressed.
"She's just my daughter-in-law. She's not my daughter."
Beth corrects them, even though she seems to be in pain.
"Oh, I apologize. But you are her relative, right? Can you come with us?"
The paramedic asked. I gave Beth a cold stare and said, "I will not accompany her to the hospital. It's been really hard for me because she has been bullying me a lot and even forced me to take care of Walter all on my own. I will be leaving home now and getting a divorce, so I am a stranger to her now." When I said this, Beth said, "No way," and was speechless. I didn't care and went to my room and started packing the rest of my stuff. The paramedics awkwardly carried Beth out. After I finished packing my things, I went to Walter's room. "Walter, thank you so much for your help."
"That's my line. Thank you so much. Be happy."
Walter waved at me with those final words. I waved back, left Walter's room, and left my parents-in-law's house. Since a few days ago I had actually called for a care helper when Beth was not around, and the helper will be here today to take care of Walter, so I could move into my new apartment in peace. The apartment Walter bought for me is quite beautiful and spacious, which surprised me. This probably cost $300,000. By the time the move was completed, the process of changing the name to mine had been completed, so the condo was mine now. All that remained was to find a job and make a living on my own. A few hours later, my husband called me, all panicked.
"Hey, why did you accompany Mom to the hospital? Mom was so angry."
"Because there's no obligation for me to accompany her when I'm going to be a stranger, right?"
"Huh?"
"I'm divorcing you. I left the divorce papers on the table."
"Oh no. Why?"
"Why? We're really done for if you don't understand that. You've been indifferent to Beth's constant abuse towards me, and to top it off, you've started to use me just like how Beth did. How can I possibly want to be with someone like that forever?"
But even if you get divorced, you have nowhere to go.
Unfortunately, I have a house that Walter gave me.
Huh?
He gave me a condo.
What?
Well, since that's the way it's going to be, you'll have to communicate through my lawyer now.
Oh, hey!
I said that and hung up the phone. Apparently, my husband and Beth made a huge deal about it after that, but Walter just ignored them. Walter called a lawyer and divorced Beth in the end as well. He then kicked my husband and Beth out of the house, sold the family home, and placed himself in a nursing care home. Beth and my husband lost their house, and since I had also filed a claim for alimony due to abuse and moral harassment, they are now in debt and currently living in poverty. On the other hand, I was able to find a new job, and now I am living comfortably in the house Walter gave me. From now on, I will live a peaceful life while searching for what I want to do. Why would you want to pick on your own daughter-in-law? I really don't understand it. But still, I'm glad Carla went through with taking care of Walter. I'm surprised that she was able to get a condo as a gift. I hope she'll find a wonderful man this time and be happy. Thanks for watching until the end. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to our channel. See you in our next video.